for the HHS meeting March 15th. I understand we have some people on Zoom that want to be admitted.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's not. No one ever knows. They're all capable. That was a mom's thing to say.
Okay, so there's been a request to allow remote participation for members to start under 7A of the Open Meetings Act due to employment purposes. Is there a motion to allow members to start to participate? Motion made second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Welcome member to start, and with that, roll call, please.
Chair Renahan.
Here.
Vice Chair Swarzy.
Here.
Member Selman.
Here.
Member Chaplin.
Here.
Member Desart.
Here.
Member LaPlante.
Here. Great. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
All right. I just want to let the committee know on April 5th at JPS, the Family Shelter Service Court Advocate will be doing a presentation on how the court, sheriff, and nonprofit work together to help victims of domestic violence. I think that kind of touches on our HHS committee. So if anyone's interested, 8 a.m. April 5th, please attend. Also wanted to let the committee know, just to follow up, we had the Y in to have a conversation about gaps in child care capacity. Myself and Mary Keating did meet with them to discuss, possible use of ARPA funds. We decided it was probably more of an economic development issue versus HHS. And so I have spoken with member Solon, member Chavez, and we'll leave it to them to connect any next steps. So with that, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of Tuesday, March 1st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are approved. Take a motion to approve FIR 13522, resolution acceptance appropriation of PACE grant for countywide transportation projects at $200,000 for community services,
Second.
January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. With motion and second. Questions or comments here? Mary, would you like to discuss?
I would like to give a little background on this. So last year we were notified by PACE that they are providing a $200,000 subsidy to all of the counties in order to support public transit initiatives. Many of the counties actually pay for the call center that runs their consolidated transportation system. We don't pay for it, PACE pays for it. So many of the counties were using it to support that. When PACE originally put this $200,000 in the IGA that we have with them to run the Right to Page program, I asked it to be separated out because we would have had a resolution where we are both basically issuing a contract and accepting and appropriating funds all in the same document. It didn't make any sense to me. So I asked it to be separated out. So PACE has sent us a specific agreement just for this $200,000. There's a little bit of dual language in the agreement that they sent us. On the one hand, it implies we can use it for any public transit initiative or to support public transit in any way in the county. There's another paragraph that implies it has to be used for Right to Page. So rather than go back and try and ask them to modify it once again, I conferred with Nick, and we agreed that probably the easiest thing to do was to accept and appropriate these funds, put it into basically the Right to Page budget, which is within this department. And then knowing then that we will then transfer $200,000 out of the community services budget and into whatever public transit initiative this board decides, the entire board decides that they want to put these funds towards.
Great. Any questions?
So we're taking the money in so we can.
So when is that conversation about the allocating it to a specific public transit?
I think that's sort of up to Chair Renahan, Member Ozog, Nick, Chris Snyder, John Loper, like the whole kind of more transportation side of that.
Do you have any idea, or too early? Like next?
You know what? We've actually been running a study for about the past year and a half about the Willowbrook Corner area, because it is low income. It is one of our blackest populations. It is in need is transportation desert. So, but to be discussed. We all have a say. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interest in doing something in that very underserved area of the county. It's just a matter of exactly what's the best tool to put down there. What's the best resource? So.
Super exciting. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, comments here? All right, all in favor? Thank you, Mary.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's approved. Let's see. I'll take a motion to combine 7A, B, C, and D. These are all acceptance and appropriations of very large annual amounts. The motion, do I have a second to combine? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'll take a motion to approve, and Mary, I'm going to have you say something on these. I'll take a motion to approve FIR 13622, resolution acceptance appropriation of 48 CDBG community services, $9,206,093. FIR 13722, acceptance appropriation 31st home investment partnership, $6,655,658. FIR 13822, resolution acceptance appropriation 34th ESG, $525,615. FIR 14022, resolution acceptance appropriation additional funding 47th CDBG FY21 company 5 million from $9,713,895 to $9,801,396 for increasing $87,501. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Mary, can you just walk us
Yeah,
through
so
this?
the most important thing to know is that these very large dollar amounts are not entirely new money. The way the county budgeting process works is that we're accepting the annual appropriation, and then we're allocating that amount of money as well as any carryover from previous grant years. So I apologize, I didn't jot down the actual numbers. They're in the resolution. The CDBG money is about 3.6 million. Is that right, Dave? Yeah. Then this is of the new money. Home is about 1.8 million. Again, it's all laid out in the resolutions. The other thing to note is that these are planning numbers because the federal government, I think, on Friday, did they finally pass the 2022 full budget, federal budget? I think they did. They didn't do a continuing resolution. They actually signed the omnibus. So we're just now getting, HUD will now get their actual dollar amount for 2022. They then have about, I think they have 60 days to notify the entitlement communities of what our exact dollar amount will be. So the amount that we're accepting is actually just based on a planning funds, because we have to establish the budget for the program. What I heard, the last I heard, and this was before the bill was actually passed, was that CDBG took about a 4% cut. So there may come a time down the road where we're actually doing a budget modification to decrease the amount.
Any questions, comments? Okay, thank you, Mary. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those are accepted. I'll take a motion to approve HHSR 13922 resolution approval contract to Yummy Vending for managing beverage and snack vending machines all over the county campus, April 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023. This pays the Care Center 24% profit and $5,000 payment for year 3. A motion and a second. Any questions, comments here? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is approved. I'll take a motion to approve 2022-31 recommendation for approval contract purchase order to Seqirus USA for flu vaccines for the Care Center, March 16th, 2022 through November 30th, 2022, not to exceed $16,012.24 per lowest quote. This is a roll call vote.
Okay. Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Desart?
Aye.
Member LaPlante?
Aye.
Vice Chair Swarzy?
Aye.
Member Solomon?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye. That's approved. Take a motion to approve 2022-32 recommendation for approval of contract purchase order to Red Sail Technologies for software and software maintenance for data system for the pharmacy department, May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023. For contract not to exceed $17,000. This is again a roll call vote.
Okay. Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Desart?
Aye.
Member LaPlante?
Aye.
Vice Chair Swarzy?
Aye.
Member Solomon?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye. Thank you. That's approved. I will take a motion to approve budget transfer to cover final year end of fiscal 2021 for final invoices for collective bargaining for outside agency checking account activity for medical expenses, surgical supplies for nursing department that was not covered by CARES or ARPA. Which is, let's see, and various rental equipment for nursing department, a total of $128,642. The motion, do you have a second? Yes. Second, thank you. Questions, comments here? I actually did have a question. I should have called you, Janelle, I'm sorry. The checking account activity outside agency, I'm not quite clear on what this is, $105,980. Can you explain that a little bit?
I think Christine might be on, and I think she would be able to provide more detail on that. Christine? I saw that she was on, so.
She is trying to get on, but it's not unmuting for her. So if someone could unmute Christine Klebon, please.
Hey, Christine?
Shows her on mute.
It shows her on mute.
No, she just muted. Now it's unmuted.
Now it's unmuted, Christine.
Yeah, I can come in. Okay, can you hear me? This is Anita. Christine's in my office. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, how are you today? Sorry about that. This is something that finance, so I don't know if Michelle Tunk is actually on today. So from what I understand, these are checking accounts that we have that are not, that finance had to start, I guess I'm trying to put into our accounts. They have to do, sorry, I'm not prepared to answer this question properly. Finance had to do direct pays at the end of the year to take care of accounts that we have that are our care center's personal accounts.
Okay, so it's more or less a cleanup?
Yes, it is totally cleanup.
Okay, all right.
It's per, and they do it per the gas fee, 84. That's what I can't explain. And I was wondering if Michelle Tunk was on, that she would be able to explain this.
Okay, well, we know that finance has been going crazy doing cleanups this year, so all right, I will accept that, and I don't have any more questions. Anybody else have questions on this budget transfer? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's approved. I'll take a motion to approve 9G budget transfer from regular salaries to benefit payments FY 2021, $60,000 for care center. The motion. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. I take the motion to combine items 10A, B, and C. These are all authorization for overnight travel. Motion second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I'll take a motion to approve A, intake and referral administrator to Illinois Association of Community Action Agencies in Springfield, May 1st through 3rd, 2022, $1,557. B, community services manager to attend mandatory regional ombudsman quarterly meeting in Springfield, April 20th to 21st, 22, $360. And C, weatherization coordinator to attend 2022 National Home Performance Conference Trade Show in Nashville, Tennessee, April 10th through 14th, 2022, $3,200. A motion second. Any questions or comments on these items? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Those are approved. Take a motion to approve consent item decrease and close for Music Speaks, $38,868.34. Second. Second, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Take a motion to approve also a decrease in close for Music Speaks, $35,206.16. Second, we have a motion and a second. I spoke with Janelle yesterday on these, and basically this was due to COVID. They weren't able to use all the funds. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's approved. Take a motion to receive and place on file information line on FMP 101-22 recommendation for approval of contract to Hill Mechanical Corp. to provide and install domestic water heater power plant that serves the care center for facilities management, March 23rd, 2022, through November 30th, 2022, not to exceed $134,385.55. Questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
That is received and placed on file. I don't think we have any residency waivers
No residency
today. Thank you. All right, Janelle Chadwick. Dupage
Hi, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I have a few things to talk about today. I'll start with COVID. We still are out of outbreak status, so visitation has ramped up considerably. It's very unusual to see that many family members in the hallways where you just get used to walking down a hall and having it be fairly empty. So it's really nice to see that visitation. We have a resident that likes to walk down to Dunkin' Donuts. And so we see him going out again, and that's just very, very rewarding to see that. So that's where that stands. The DPCC, the Care Center renovation, we did a site visit with the architects, and we will begin meeting weekly to push through phasing plans and next steps. So we will definitely include this committee every step through our process. And when it's time that we have something fruitful that you might want to participate in, we'll certainly extend that invitation to you to participate. We run the cafes throughout the county. My support services manager, Diane Borski, she's also a dietitian. And we did a survey on the 421 Cafe, and just to ask when it reopens, what type of foods, put the products that people want in the way that they want them. And we put it out, and I think within just a couple hours, we had 250 plus responses. So a lot of data back on that, a lot of inserted information about what people would like. So we'll be analyzing that and using that on our reopen strategy. The last thing is that we're just starting up our job fairs, our in-person job fairs. We're very excited to get this underway. We have flyers that we're going to disseminate throughout the community on our wages, because we know that they're very strong, very competitive. So we have 3 different mechanisms that we're using for recruitment. And so those will be underway here shortly as well. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions? Janelle, I just want to again commend you, Annabelle, Anita, Shauna, all of you on your Blue Ribbon Award by Cares for Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Amazing work during COVID. We all talked about it in county board, but I just wanted to, yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Michelle Tunk just arrived. She can probably answer the question.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hi there. You ran over. You look tired.
Yeah, I ran over. Anyways, so what's happening is because of this GASB, it requires us to analyze all of the outside checking accounts that the different departments have, and some of them are not considered fiduciary. And so that in that respect, we have to record them on our books. We do have all of the checking accounts recorded, some of them in special revenue accounts, some of them are considered custodial, so they're custodial agency accounts. But the couple that this budget transfer is in reference to have to be recorded in general fund. Therefore, there are expenses that they didn't realize, would be recorded there, and therefore the budget transfer is required. So I don't know.
Okay.
I know.
I believe you.
I know. I know, believe me, we're working through it with a lot of the departments because, Care Center's not the only one. It's a budget transfer.
You've seen a lot of them this year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you. Thank you for coming up
Not a
here.
problem.
Sit and enjoy the show.
I know. I should have probably watching all along, and then I would have been like, oh my God.
I have another comment on budget transfers as a rule. When I first came there, they waited till the end of the year to do all the budget transfers at like one time. And that was very labor intensive, and everyone assumed they had the same pocket of money available, all the different directors. And so you get to the end, and luckily we never had an issue, but that's pretty scary to think that everyone has this bucket of funds available and they don't. So probably 4 years ago or so, Christine Claiborne and we worked through, and we do the most of the budget transfers all throughout the year now. So the cleanup at the end of the year is minimal.
All right, thanks, Janelle. All right, moving on to community services update, Mary Keating.
I have a couple things before I get to the part of the issue, which is 211. Just a little bit more on checking accounts. If you're wondering, like, why do departments have outside checking accounts? I'll give you 2 examples from my department. The Family Center does online training for divorced and never married parents that are separating, or actually for divorced parents, because you have to have that certification of parenting training. So we do that online. The county, it doesn't have the ability to accept credit card payments into sort of the general fund. So it goes into a checking account that then gets transferred into the county funds. And the other thing that we have a checking account down in the credit union. We issue, so if a client comes in, they're facing eviction or water shut off, and for some reason, the landlord or the vendor will not or cannot wait for a check to go through the regular county process, we pay it out of the credit union. Then we process a payment from the county, whatever grant account or general fund, whatever it is, back to replenish that credit union account. So it's a way to kind of expedite some of our processes. So that's one of the reasons that's why we have outside checking accounts. Okay. A couple more things before 211. So our senior services folks asked me to mention our money management program, which is we have volunteers who go into seniors' homes and help them manage their pay their bills, keep track of their funds. We are desperately short of volunteers, and so if you know anyone, there's a lot of folks who are retired CPAs or have some sort of a finance background. It's extremely rewarding. We've had some volunteers who've worked with the same senior for 10 or 15 years. So if you know of it, we're putting it on our Facebook page, trying to get the word out. But if you know of anybody who might be interested, let me know. Just very quickly on the Dupage Foundation and the Transformation Partnership Grant process, there are 2 information sessions coming up, one on Friday and one on Tuesday, for nonprofit organizations that are interested in applying for the funds. I'm really excited with the direction that we're taking. I hope Member Renahan shares that enthusiasm. We're basically looking at what we're calling immediate intervention grants to get funds out very quickly. And then later this year, we'll be issuing a call for what we're calling transformational grants, which will be those kind of larger scale, high impact, more thoughtful systems change, process improvement, those kinds of things. So we're kind of striking a balance between getting funds out into the community as quickly as possible, but also making those thoughtful long-term investments. So like I said, the information sessions are coming up Friday and Tuesday. Okay, on to the main event. We are rocking and rolling on 211. There is a whole lot going on. Just a reminder that the board, in its ARPA allocation process, set aside $1.6 million towards the implementation and operations of 211 through the ARPA term period. So next week, I'm very excited that our contract with the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center will be going to finance and the full board. That's an annual contract for $190,000 that ACDC will then be taking on the role of nights and weekends. So they'll be covering when the county is closed. On staffing, one of the things that was included in the $1.6 million was funds for 2 additional information and referral specialists. We anticipate with 211 that we'll be getting more calls into our intake and referral division. So we are increasing our headcount by 2. That should go, I believe the plan is that that's going also next week to finance and board. There is a 3rd position that was already approved. It was approved a couple of months ago. We approved it as an administrative assistant position, but as I've worked with Gina and really looked at what our staffing plan is and the already significant workload that we have of the current management staff in Gina's unit, we are taking that administrative assistant and we're upgrading it to a manager position. It's about a 2-step grade increase, so that will require board approval, but the position itself was already created, so we're just doing a modification of that. So there will be 3 new positions all associated with 211. all of which is able to be covered under that $1.6 million allocation. The plan is, once we have those headcount created, is that we will post all 3 of those positions with the goal of filling them probably in May, depending on how the hiring process goes and what we get in terms of candidates. For training, we're working on a training plan to submit to the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center. We'll have that to them by the middle of April so that we can really work out what is the plan. We're talking about a train-the-trainer model so that our staff will be working with some key staff over at ACDC who will then be doing the training. We anticipate that we'll have some of our folks will be on site at ACDC on and off for during that period. ACDC anticipates that they'll actually start their training process probably in late June or early July. One of the things that we can't forget is that the state actually has to approve us as the 211 provider for DuPage County. We've got it in. It's an organization called 211 Illinois. Gina actually happens to be the president of 211 Illinois. So
Not for much longer.
yeah, so we're feeling a little we're not cocky, but we're feeling confident. But we do have to, so one of the steps that has to happen before we can kind of, make the case to 211 Illinois is this IGA with ACDC. So basically we're saying we have the funding, we have the plan, we are ready to go. So then the state can designate us. That's basically how it works, right? So we hope to have that decision also in May, but there's an RFP process that 211 Illinois does. So they'll issue the RFP of who wants to be the provider for DuPage County. We'll raise our hands. We'll show what capacity we have, that we've got everything all lined up. So that should all be hunky-dory. On the technology side, there's a lot of sort of integration both with the phone system that the county has, the ACDC phone system, making sure that, so the way 211 works is that wherever you call 211 from, your local telecom understands where you're physically located and sends that call to the appropriate 211 call center. The same way 911 works. But that requires switching and work that has to be done by AT&T. So they should be, hopefully they'll be starting that in May. Also in May. We anticipate that'll take somewhere between 12 and 16 weeks. We've said 12, ACDC said plan on 16. But I know that our phone folks in our IT department and the ACDC phone folks are already kind of working together, so we make sure we're all on the same page. We also have the integration with basically the CRIS database, which is CallPoint. There's a vendor called WellSky who provides that software. We already use them, but there's integration of CallPoint and the phone system. It's all this magic that's happening behind the scenes. But rest assured, we're working on it. We'll be working on a marketing plan. We'll obviously be working closely with Joan. We'll work with many of our community partners, but we'll be working on a marketing plan. So our plan is to have that plan with some estimated costs done by early April. All of this is sort of leading up to what we anticipate to be kind of, we're going to call it a soft launch on August 1st. So that we've got a couple of weeks to make sure that all the technology is working, that the training is worked. So we will kind of softly let people know, but then we'll be hitting marketing hard September 1st for our sort of official launch. So like I said, we're rocking and rolling on 211. It's incredibly exciting. I want to thank Gina's doing all the work. So I just really want to thank her for, and I know she's excited about it. We're really excited about it. I mean, Gina and I, 211 has been something we've talked about for 20 years. So it's going to happen.
Yay.
So thank you to the board for your support.
Great. Questions for Mary?
I had heard like
radio ad in the last week or two that, talked about how you can call 211, but then also reference like a website. Is that what you were talking about with the Chris integration?
So the Chris, yeah, well, yeah, so the Chris website, then basically the database that drives that is that's what our information referral folks already use.
Yeah.
So it's all integrated, and one of the things that we'll do for marketing purposes is we will be changing you'll still be able to go to Dupage Chris.
Yeah.
But we'll be changing the URL to 211 Dupage.
Oh, awesome.
Either Dupage 21 or 211 Dupage.
Perfect, okay.
They'll
I
both
hadn't
continue to
realized.
work, but we will be rebranding Dupage Chris as 211.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's several counties around us that have it already right now.
Yeah, I think I was driving out of county when it was
Yeah.
a radio ad, yeah.
So it's good because we get, that marketing too, all of
Yeah.
us in the future.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. I can't wait to see how many more people we can reach.
Mhm.
This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, ETSB members Salman and Vice Chair Schwarzy for helping facilitate. So, yeah. That was the old days. All right, do we have any old business? Any new business? Yes. Member
I
Schwarzy.
just wanted
Vice
to pass on some information. A good friend of first responders, a gentleman by the name of Joe Kish, who is he's in the management side of District 200, School District 200. Specifically, I think he's one of the vice principals of Franklin Middle School. Anyway, he has been a big philanthropist for our county over the last decade or so. And one of his events that he puts on is a first responder dodgeball tournament. He's been doing this, I think this year was the 7th or 8th year that he's done it. And he reached out to me a few months back and said, hey, do you have any, we raise this money and we try to donate it to certain various entities that need help. And I mentioned, well, how about the Dupage Care Center? And we went with the foundation. So he organized this first responder dodgeball tournament, which is the dodgeball tournament itself is not necessarily open to the public. It's people can go and watch, but he doesn't charge money to get in or anything. But it's basically area firefighters, police officers, anybody that is sort of pro first responder. I know that Bob Berlin's office had a team in there along with CDH and things like that. So this year it was a successful year. They took a couple of years off because of the COVID, but First Trust Cares, which is a financial institution in Wheaton, donated sponsored themselves a check for $15,000, which went to the Dupage Care Center Foundation. And then with the other monies that were involved, you're probably going to be getting close to around 20 grand or so. And I just wanted to recognize Joe Kish. He does this just out of the goodness of his heart. I want to recognize, First Trust Cares out of Wheaton. And Janelle, I may reach out to you in the next few days, and maybe we can do something where we recognize Joe and
Absolutely.
First
Yep.
Trust Cares and
Yep.
so and everyone will be invited if we do something like that. But I just wanted to get that on the record that what a great thing this gentleman did. So.
All right, well done. Good news.
And you couldn't attend, obviously,
Excellent.
because you were attending either a wedding or some,
Yeah.
all your kids are getting married apparently.
Okay, is there any other new business? All right, I'll take motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
All right.
We are.
Dodgeball.